Hey, what's up, guys? It's Inside the Puzzle here. I'm here with Chris Sock. This is the second time on the channel today. Chris Sock just recently won the PPG Regionals online with his interesting take of a standardized Whitebeard list.
All right. So I'll go through the deck list real quick. All right. And I'll tell you about my few interesting takes on this deck. All right. So I play Newgate. This is my Ezo, of course. We play Ezo, and our 4-5 cost curve, 4 Dawn 5 cost, 4 Dawn 5 Dawn curve. Yep, pretty much standard.
So I'm assuming
And then
because you play, because you draw the extra card and you have Ezo, you're able to like see those 12 cards consistently.
I mean, well, people also play Whitebeard Pirates, right? Which I actually don't. I'll explain that in a minute. I think 12 is actually just fine. I mean, you stop mulligan, right? And yeah, basically you have 16 cards to see early. It's not the end of it's also not the end of the world if you miss your 4-5 Dawn curve. I mean, these guys are, small compared to the actual threats, so I don't think it's that bad. But I guess you do want to see it because it's also not bad to play Marco early as well. Yeah. And this is my 6 to 7 Dawn curve. Alright, so I play 4th Dash because I figured since this is so I think Whitebeard is actually the easiest deck in the game right now, and I figured everyone else would be on it as well. And Dash is pretty good in the mirror. It's also like these are like your very few threats that you actually play in the game. And what I mean by few threats is that like your big guys, right? So I figured Dash would be good in the mirror and just being a decent threat overall. And I play 3 Ace. I figured Ace is like pretty good into the mirror as well, but it's decent when you go first, but it's way better when you go second in the mirror. And I only play 3 because there's not a lot of opportunity to actually play multiple of these. Like you would play this on your turn 4, and then you would play like 9-cost new gates afterwards. So it's very rare that you actually play like 2 of these cards. So that's why I only play 3, and they're counterless cards. So yeah. And then we play this is probably the best card in the deck, New Gate. I mean, you have to play this card.
Well, previously,
Play it.
Now he's at 1.
Yeah. I don't think it deserves to be hit to 1, but just a little bit sad, but not really complaining. Whitebeard is a pretty broken deck. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the 2K counters. Alright, so I play 16 2K counters. The only reason why I could play this many is because I cut Whitebeard Pirates. And the reason why I don't want to play Whitebeard Pirates is because like people are playing that card because of Marco, the 5-cost Marco. So there's like more events to ditch it to revive it. But if people see like a 5-cost Marco on the other side of the board, they're not gonna they're not exactly gonna try and kill it because that they're gonna easily be able to revive it. So I figured like, you know what, I'm not Whitebeard Pirates. Like, there's not so many opportunities to actually play that card because I think you're using your Dawn up most of the time, and so like you probably could only play it on maybe like turn 1. So I didn't want like Whitebeard Pirates to be stuck in my hand. Even though Whitebeard Pirates, I do think Whitebeard Pirates is a decent card because like the 2 most important cards in this deck is your 9-cost and your blocker. But overall, I still thought the card was trash, so I decided to cut it for more 2Ks. And I figured if I ever need to revive Marco, like my remaining events should be enough. And also, these are like the most important ones, right? The most important one is actually Otama, so you can use your 9-cost to go for game. And these are not as important, but still pretty good. And this is like the least important one. And the idea behind playing this card is, other than being a 2K, is like if you play against Law and you don't open a card to play on your 4-5 Dawn curve, so you would play this like a turn earlier. And since you don't have a card to play in your 4-5 Dawn curve, you could attach 2 Dawn to this to play play into law.
Did you ever use it to kill a buggy?
It can't kill a buggy because it's 2K.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess that's that part about it sucks. I think it would be played more if it could kill a 3K or higher. And then my events. So I play 4 Radical Beam and 3 Guard Point. So of course 4 Radical Beam, no question, right? But I think most people play 4 Guard Point, and I figure like there actually isn't a lot of opportunity where you actually need multiple events. Like the only time you need it is if you don't play 9 cost. You don't play 9 cost, so you do need multiple defenses. But when you do play it, like you actually don't need more of these, and you usually win the following turn after you play the 9 cost or after you play all your 9 costs. So I figured like having multiple of these isn't so great. I did replace my last guard point for a 2K counter, so I figured like the difference between my replacement is very minimal. And so I guess I'll talk about some of my matchups, right? So I played 3 mirrors. I played 2 Zoro, 2 Lucci, 1 Big Mom, 1 Law, and 1 Film Kid. And against my Whitebeard opponents, I actually won the die roll, so I went second. And I don't know, like the games didn't seem so close. Like I was always a turn or 2 ahead of my opponent, and maybe it's because I went second, right? That's why like I was so ahead. But yeah, the games weren't close. I even had a game where all I played was like I played this on turn 2, and then I played 2 Thatch afterwards, and I just played a Marco, and that was like pretty much enough to beat my opponent. And I played 2 Zoro players, and actually happened to know both of them. And if I had to explain it, Zoro's like, I think this matchup is actually pretty even, but I think Zoro actually has to make all the harder decisions playing into Whitebeard because I'm a 6K leader and all the guys are small. So they actually have to make all the best moves while I'm practically just like autopiloting. And yeah, I did happen to play 2 guys I know, like 1 guy from locals. Honestly, he was playing pretty slow. But yeah, I'm glad I took it. And I happened to play a teammate as well. One of us had to lose, right? And yeah, I'm glad it wasn't me.
Hey, that's the spirit.
And I played a Law as well, right? So I guess I'll talk about the interesting part about my game. When I played against Law, I guess the game was pretty close. It's arguably close because basically I have enough defense in my hand to defend most attacks next turn, even if a restanding Law comes. However, if he happens to have Brook and a restanding Law, I lose. But it's kind of unlikely that he has it because after defending, he has just 1 card in hand, and so he would need a combination of 2 cards, right? So, and he would draw the card. He would take his last life, and then he would draw for turn, and that would need to be it to kill me. So, there was like a chance I could lose that game, but yeah, he would have to draw the cards. And I played against a Big Mom. Yeah, Big Mom. So the plan of that game was just take all my life, so he doesn't gain max value off his Big Moms. And I guess the interesting part about this game was, I mean, to be honest, I was in no threat of dying, but I was at 0 life, and I basically had Marco Blocker, and my opponent has Harakiri and 10 cost Big Mom and Big Mom character, and I did the math beforehand. Like I put him down to 0 life, so he couldn't Thunderbolt, right? But I thought maybe I wasn't too sure how Thunderbolt worked because I thought maybe there was a chance that Thunderbolt could work under 0 life, so you could just pop Marco Blocker and go for game. But regardless, right? I had 1 Dawn Up. I only had 1 Radical Beam, but I had like 7 2Ks and 1 1K. So like, even if Thunderbolt did work, like he wasn't getting. There was no way he was going to game me because I had all the defense. So, and then I played Film Kid. Yeah, Film Kid. That matchup. So that was like the first time I ever played it with this deck, and my opponent didn't have a good curve. Like he didn't really put damage threats on the board, and but so I played the game like actually pretty slowly. I didn't want to like rush into things and get all in by double kid swing, double leader swing. So I played it like slowly, and but then there came a point where he dropped. I actually thought there was no chance he was winning, but there came a point where he dropped a 7-cost Luffy, and he left 2 Dawn open, and he has 6 cards hand, and he's at 0 life. And this was my board. It was just Marco and 9-cost Newgate. So I, as it went to my turn, like I was thinking about it, and since he left up 2 for Punk Gibson, right? He's gonna be tapping down my Marco this turn if I decide not to attack with it. And if he does do that, I don't have enough counter in my hand to defend the double kit swing next turn. So he actually forced me to go for game, and so I basically had to do a 9 attack first, a 10, 11, and then 11. That's basically the perfect attack order. And so what he would do is I would attack with this. He would just use a Punk Gibson and a 1K to defend this, and then he would have 4 cards in hand. And then I swing for 11. He would block, and I swing for 11. He has 4 cards in hand, which is possible to defend this 11 attack with 4 cards, which requires him to need 3 2Ks at least. But the previous turn when I was attacking, the way he defended basically said he had no more 2Ks. But there was a chance that he could actually get those last 2Ks from the last 2 life he took last turn and the draw for turn. So there was a chance that he can have 3 2Ks, but it was unlikely. So the game, he did force me to go for game, but I guess in a world there was a chance he could win. In a perfect world, but unlikely. And I played 2 Lucci, yeah. So that's pretty much Whitebeard's hardest matchup. And I'll talk about the first game I played. The first game, my opponent went second, and he actually had a pretty decent curve on me. So he would on his turn 3, he would play Sakazuki to pop my 4-cost that I just played, and then the next turn he would play Isho. There's no way to play around Isho. And then the next turn, after I played my 9-cost Newgate, the next turn he would play he would attach 1 Dawn to Isho, play Suru -2, and then play another Sakazuki, pop my Newgate. So things were looking pretty bad. But this whole time, since I went first, right, I have an extra Dawn to use every turn, and I used it basically to swing 7K every turn. And I got him down to 1 life. And eventually, after he killed my first Newgate, I played the second one. And I already had, and even my board was like something like this. Yeah, that was my board exactly. But and his board was looking pretty scary, right? So actually, I was forced to go for game eventually. And what happened was there was his turn before last. He actually used, I don't exactly remember, but he used an ability to kill Marco, and I was debating whether I need to revive it, and I thought about it. He's at 1 life, and I'm like, yes, I actually do need to revive it, even though he's going to abuse this card. And the reason why I need to revive it is because there's actually no way I'm going to lose the following turn afterwards, right? So there's actually no way I could win the game without a third attacker if he plays a blocker. So I persistently defended this card. He did end up playing the blocker, but he had 2 Dawn up, and it was looking like I didn't have game because of the 2 Dawn up. But turns out he was just bluffing. He did already use 2 shockwaves. If he had the third one, then he had it. But yeah, I stole that game. And the other black matchup, I played in the finals actually, and this was a little bit interesting. So I didn't open up a 9-cost Newgate. So like usually the plan, if you don't open up 9-cost, you just want to take all your life and sit on blockers, so you don't lose value on every attack. And but my opponent was actually defending very efficiently, and he was staying at a very high life total. So I figured, man, taking all this life and playing a Marco blocker is actually not going to be enough, because he has the double swing of Lucci, and so even though I didn't have 9 costs, I thought, I got to slow the game down. Like, this game, if I'm going to win, it's going to take longer than a couple turns. So I decided to start defending ahead of time. Usually I just take a life since I don't have 9 costs, but I defended. I defended and hoped that I drew like another Marco or Newgate afterwards. I did have Ezo in my hand, which I played. So after I defended, the following turn I drew a 9 cost Newgate, and then I played Ezo for another Newgate because I knew that one Newgate wasn't going to be enough since he's like still at 5 life. And eventually I played down Marco and double Newgate, and then I was able to get him down to 3 life, but the turn afterwards he set up a blocker and he got me down to 1 life, and basically, since he has a blocker and I have 4 attackers, I don't have any rush guys, by the way, there was no way I could kill him, and so I just did my best to put him. So I only had 1 move to do. I did my best to put him down to 0 and try to win the following turn, right? I had double Radical Beam in my hand, and I have a 2K and a 1K in my hand. So I have 4 cards in my hand. Well, and I had a Marco blocker. So 5 cards, actually. And so I ended up playing a Marco, and so my hand was something like this. Something like... Yeah. And I had 1 life. I take the life, it's a 1K, and my opponent's board is Isho, double 6K, 3K small body, and leader. So, I usually do the math beforehand to see if I'm, dead. But because I didn't do the math this time for defense, because I only had 1 move, so, I didn't even think about what to do, which was to play defense. And, and it was a little bit questionable how my opponent attacked, but I did the math afterwards because I thought I want to see how lucky I was to win that game. So I did the math afterwards, right? But if my opponent did decide, no matter how my opponent attacked, like, he was going to lose the game. I think people were thinking like my opponent threw the game, but actually it was impossible to break through this defense with Isho double 6K leader, and yeah, those were pretty much that's all my matchups. Yeah.
That's cool. Going into the new format, you're no longer playing Whitebeard, or are you just completely committed?
This deck is dead. Yeah, I'm no longer gonna play this deck. It's pretty safe to assume this deck is dead. I think some people think like there's a chance, but let's be real. There's no chance.
Okay.
I haven't exactly decided what to play.
Okay. Any special shoutouts that you want to give?
Oh yes, of course. So shout out to Luxury Gaming. Shout out to the team, the mods, the players, and shout out to our sponsors, MetaMats and Dueling Guard, and everyone else who congratulated me as well, and the New York City community.
Nice. Any other shout outs to anybody that you can think of that last minute, or
you talking about yourself?
No.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see what you're trying to yeah, but I can't tell who you're talking about. Yeah, shout out to Cecil, because you're always supporting me.
Thank you. Well, Chris Hawk, thank you so much for taking the time to explain the deck and your matchups. Really appreciate seeing you on the channel again. This is Inside the Puzzle Out, and Chris Hawk, thank you.
Yeah, last Whitebeard deck profile ever.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, see ya.
Later.